What if one quiet midnight, before the world even opened its eyes, the United States government pulled the trigger on the biggest financial takedown of the decade? No leaks, no rumors, just a sudden national address broadcast across every screen. Effective immediately, cryptocurrency is deemed a national threat. In a flash, executive orders are signed, federal agencies mobilize. All US-based crypto exchanges are frozen, wallet apps are removed from the App Store, bank accounts linked to crypto transactions are locked. The Treasury, DOJ and IRS launch a full-scale operation. Chain analysis goes into overdrive. Every transaction you've ever made is dissected, traced, and flagged. Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, gone. Funds seized, accounts wiped. VPNs monitored. Smart contracts? Criminal evidence. In less than 12 hours, the US government doesn't just regulate crypto, it declares war on it, and the markets react like they've seen a ghost. Bitcoin plunges. Ethereum freefalls. Altcoins evaporate. Stablecoins like USDC and Tether collapse under the pressure, unable to maintain their peg as regulators choke the life out of liquidity. Binance suspends withdrawals to US users. Fear spreads like wildfire. Investors scramble to dump whatever they can before the exit doors seal shut. Telegram groups are flooded. Twitter becomes a war zone of memes, disbelief, and panic. NFTs are forgotten in a blink. Blue-chip apes and punks? Worthless JPEGs. Virtual metaverse empires? Reduced to digital graveyards. The crypto economy, once thriving, rebellious, and worth trillions, is in ruins. Overnight, financial freedom has a new name: felony, and then the real purge begins. The IRS begins issuing audit notices to anyone who's ever held crypto. Influencers who once screamed, "Not financial advice," are being questioned under oath. Developers who coded open-source privacy protocols are branded cyber terrorists. Bitcoin miners in Texas are raided by federal agents and accused of energy subversion. Hardware wallets are confiscated. Cold storage becomes contraband. Privacy coins like Monero and Zcash are labeled digital laundering tools, and owning them becomes a federal offense. The media runs a full spin campaign. Crypto was never safe, they say. It was always a scam. Headlines scream about how the government is protecting the people. But behind the scenes, it's clear. This isn't protection. It's a digital coup. But while the US burns crypto to the ground, a new digital world begins to form in the shadows. In Dubai, new crypto hubs spring up overnight. El Salvador opens its doors to American developers fleeing prosecution. Russia and China seize the opportunity, launching their own state-backed blockchains, using Bitcoin to sidestep SWIFT, and pushing for a new global currency system free from US influence. BRICS nations propose a blockchain-based trade currency. And as Western markets collapse in fear, emerging markets rise with fire in their eyes. Crypto doesn't die, it mutates. It decentralizes further. It hides. It builds in silence. Anonymous developers release new privacy protocols so advanced that even the NSA can't trace them. Peer-to-peer wallets are smuggled across borders on microchips and burner phones. Decentralized mesh networks replace centralized servers. VPNs become default. GitHub alternatives hosted on the dark web explode in traffic. A second renaissance begins, not in Silicon Valley, but in underground code caves lit by LED screens and driven by a singular goal: resist control. The new crypto isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's survival tech, financial insurgency, a weapon against surveillance. And back in the US, the government celebrates a hollow victory. The dollar lives on, but as a central bank digital currency, programmable, trackable, and completely controlled. Citizens are onboarded into the new system, promised speed and security in exchange for their freedom. Every transaction is monitored. Taxation becomes automated, bad spending triggers warning notifications, donation to a flag cause, wallet frozen. Travel too much without reason? Your CBDC account is suspended for review. Americans traded volatility for chains. And only then do they realize the enemy wasn't Bitcoin. The enemy was giving up control. But something stirs beneath the surface, because once an idea is born, it cannot be uninvented. crypto re-emerges as an underground movement. The more they try to kill it, the more it spreads. Just like Napster gave birth to Spotify, the crypto the US tried to bury becomes the foundation for a new era. Decentralized, permissionless, and unstoppable. A global digital rebellion is underway. One led not by banks or billionaires, but by developers, creators, and people who still believe in freedom. They don't need permission. They don't need central banks. All they need is code. So what happens if the US government crashes crypto overnight? Chaos, collapse, censorship, pain, yes, but also rebirth. Crypto was never just about price. It was a movement, a rebellion, a revolution dressed in blockchain. And revolutions don't die in bear markets. They evolve, they adapt, they return, stronger than before. And that brings us to you. The question isn't just what the government would do. The question is, what would you do? Will you panic? Will you conform? Or will you prepare? Because one day, maybe sooner than you think, this won't just be a what if, it'll be real. And when that day comes, you'll wish you learned sooner. If this gave you chills, then it's time to stop watching from the sidelines. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon, because this channel dives deeper than anyone into what really happens behind the headline. Drop a comment. Would you go underground or go compliant? And remember, not your keys, not your coins. Because when the storm hits, your knowledge is your only defense. Stay sharp, stay sovereign, stay decentralized.